Evening came to Sodom like a curtain falling. Two strangers arrived at the city gate, and Lot saw them. And something in him tightened. He urged them to come under his roof. Not tomorrow, not later, tonight. Inside his home, the lamps burned low, and the tension rose high. Then the pounding began. A crowd gathered, angry, entitled, relentless. Voices stacked on voices until the night itself seemed to shake. Lot stepped outside, trying to reason, trying to protect. But the crowd surged forward, and the door frame became a battle line. In an instant, the strangers pulled Lot back inside and shut the door, and a burst of blinding light struck the mob. Men staggered, reached for walls, fell into each other, their sight stolen, their rage turning to panic. Then the warning came, clear, final. Take your family, leave, now. No bargaining, no delay, and above all, do not look back. Lot ran to his relatives by marriage, begging them to flee. But they laughed, brushing it off like a bad dream. Dawn broke, and still they hesitated. So the visitors seized their hands, pulled them into motion, dragged mercy through the last seconds of delay. Outside the city, wind whipped across the plain. The mountains stood far ahead. Safety, distant. Lot pleaded for a smaller escape, a little town nearby, and it was granted. But behind them, judgment was already falling. Fire came down, smoke rose up, the sky darkened with ruin, and in the middle of the flight, Lot's wife slowed. One step, one breath, one last pull of the past. She turned her head and looked back. Long pause. The wind swept through, and where she had been stood a pillar of salt. Lot stumbled forward, horror burning behind his eyes, but survival demanded movement, not mourning. Far away, Abraham stood on his ridge and watched the valley. A column of smoke climbed into the heavens, and the promise of mercy felt painfully small against the weight of what was lost. Lot fled to the hills, then to a cave, with only his daughters and the echo of a destroyed city. The silence inside that cave was not peace. It was aftermath. It was trauma. It was choices made in fear. And when the story closes, it does not close with celebration, but with a warning written into the landscape. Some moments cannot be undone. Some roads cannot be walked backward. And some deliverance is only found by moving forward without looking back.
In the heat of the day, Abraham sat at the entrance of his tent, still, watchful, as if the air itself was holding its breath. 3 travelers appeared in the shimmer of the desert, not loud, not hurried, but somehow unmistakable. Abraham rose at once. He ran to meet them, bowed low, and pleaded for them to rest, water for their feet, shade from the sun, bread and a meal worthy of honor. Inside the tent, Sarah heard her name, and her hands moved faster than her thoughts. Flour, fire, servants running, a calf prepared, hospitality, like a sacred duty. When they ate beneath the tree, one of the visitors looked toward the tent and asked calmly, "Where is Sarah?" Then came words that felt impossible. A promise, timed like an appointment with destiny. By the turning of seasons, Sarah would hold a son. Behind the tent fabric, Sarah laughed, quietly, not out of joy, but out of disbelief. Old age had taught her to stop hoping for certain miracles. And yet the voice outside answered the laughter she never meant anyone to hear. A question, sharp as a blade and gentle as mercy. Is anything too hard for the Lord? Sarah denied it, fear rising in her throat. But the moment had already named her doubt and named her future. As the visitors stood and turned towards Sodom, the warmth of the meal faded into something heavier. The air changed, like a courtroom opening its doors. Abraham walked with them, uneasy. And then the truth was spoken. A city's outcry had reached heaven, and justice was drawing near. Abraham stopped and pleaded, "What if there are righteous there?" His voice trembled, but he stood his ground. 50, 45, 40, 30, 20, 10. Each number was a rope thrown into the deep, and each time mercy answered, "If righteousness could be found." Then the visitors left, and Abraham remained alone on the ridge, staring into the valley, as if trying to see what the future was about to become.
The morning was quiet, the desert still held the cool breath of night. And then, God spoke, "Abraham, here I am," he answered. "Take your son, your only son Isaac, the one you love, and go to the land of Moriah. Offer him there as a burnt offering. No explanation, no warning, only obedience or refusal." Abraham rose early, no arguments, no tears, just quiet obedience. 3 days, 3 long days of walking, every step closer to sacrifice, every step heavier than the last. Isaac spoke.
"Father,
Yes, my son.
we have the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the offering?"
Abraham swallowed the weight of heaven.
God will
My son,
provide
the Lord has
lamb,
spoken.
my son.
Father, what troubles you?
We must have faith.
I trust you.
The altar was built, stone by stone, the wood was laid in order. And then, Abraham bound his son, the promise, the miracle child. His hands trembled, his heart broke, and still he obeyed. The knife rose, and heaven held its breath.
Abraham,
Here I am.
Do not lay a hand on the boy. Now I know that you fear God.
Abraham looked up, and there, a ram caught in a thicket. God had provided. Abraham called that place, "The Lord will provide," because on the mountain of the Lord it shall be provided. Faith does not always understand, but faith obeys, and sometimes the test reveals the promise.
Sarah lived 127 years. And Sarah died in Hebron, in the land of Canaan. Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. Abraham stood before the people of the land and said, "I am a stranger and a foreigner among you. Give me a burial place among you so that I may bury my dead." Abraham listened to Ephron and weighed out the silver in the hearing of the people. 400 shekels of silver. So the field and the cave of Machpelah became Abraham's possession. After this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah before Mamre. That is Hebron in the land of Canaan. Abraham was now very old, and the Lord had blessed him in every way. He said to his servant, "You must go to my country and find a wife for my son Isaac." The servant prayed, "Lord, God of my master Abraham, give me success today. Let the young woman who gives water to me and my camels be the one you have chosen for Isaac." Before he finished praying, Rebekah came out with a jar on her shoulder. She was very beautiful and a virgin. She went down to the spring and filled her jar. She said, "Drink, my lord." Then she added, "I will draw water for your camels too." Until they have finished drinking, the man watched quietly to see if the Lord had made his journey successful. Then the man bowed his head and worshipped the Lord. "Blessed be the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who has led me to the family of my master." Isaac went out to meditate in the field in the evening. He looked up and saw camels approaching. Isaac brought her into the tent of his mother Sarah. He took Rebekah and she became his wife. And Isaac loved her. Before the brothers were even born, their story had already begun. Isaac prayed desperately for his wife Rebekah, because she could not have children. The Lord answered his prayer. But during her pregnancy, something strange happened. The children struggled violently within her. Rebekah cried out to God, asking why this was happening. And the Lord answered, 2 nations are in your womb. 2 peoples will be separated from your body. One will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. The prophecy was spoken before either child took their first breath. When the time came, the first child was born red and covered with hair. They named him Esau. Moments later, his brother emerged, gripping Esau's heel. They named him Jacob, meaning heel grabber. As they grew, their differences became clear. Esau became a hunter, a man of the open fields, strong and wild. Jacob was quieter, thoughtful, and stayed among the tents. Isaac loved Esau because he brought him fresh game. But Rebekah favored Jacob, and so the tension between the brothers quietly grew. One day, Jacob was cooking a pot of lentil stew. The smell drifted through the camp as the pot simmered over the fire. At that moment, Esau stumbled in from the wilderness. He was exhausted, dusty, and starving after a long hunt. His voice was desperate. "Quick, give me some of that red stew. I'm starving." Jacob looked up slowly, and then he said something unexpected. "First, sell me your birthright." The birthright was no small thing. It meant leadership of the family, double inheritance, and the blessing of Abraham. But Esau was only thinking about his hunger. Esau waved his hand in frustration. "Look, I'm about to die from hunger. What good is a birthright to me right now?" Jacob didn't move. "Swear to me first." And in that moment of hunger and impatience, Esau swore an oath. He traded his birthright for a bowl of stew. Jacob handed him bread and lentil stew. Esau ate. He drank. Then he stood up and walked away. Just like that, the inheritance of generations, given away for a single meal. Scripture ends the moment with a quiet but powerful statement. So Esau despised his birthright. Years passed. Isaac grew old, and his eyesight faded until he could barely see. One day he called for his eldest son. Isaac said, "My time is near. Take your bow and go out to the fields. Hunt game for me and prepare the food I love. Then I will give you my blessing before I die." Rebekah was listening in and devised her own plan. As soon as Esau left, Rebekah rushed to Jacob. "Listen carefully," she whispered. "I heard your father tell Esau to hunt food and receive the blessing. Go quickly to the flock and bring me 2 young goats. I will prepare the meal your father loves. Then you will take it to him and receive the blessing instead." Jacob hesitated, "But Esau is hairy, and I am not. If my father touches me, he will know I am deceiving him." Rebekah answered firmly, "Let the curse fall on me, my son. Just do what I say." Rebekah prepared the meal exactly as Isaac loved it. Then she took Esau's finest clothes and placed them on Jacob. She covered Jacob's hands and neck with goatskins so they would feel like Esau's rough hair. The disguise was complete. Jacob carried the food to his father. Jacob entered the tent. "My father." Isaac replied, "Here I am." "Who are you, my son?" Jacob answered the unthinkable. "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Sit up and eat, so that you may bless me." Isaac was suspicious. "How did you find the game so quickly?" Jacob said, "The Lord your God gave me success." Still uncertain, Isaac said, "Come near so I may touch you." Jacob stepped forward. Isaac felt the goatskins on his arms. The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And Isaac was convinced. Isaac ate the meal. Then he asked Jacob to come closer. Jacob leaned near, and Isaac smelled Esau's clothes. And Isaac spoke the blessing. "May God give you the dew of heaven and the richness of the earth. May nations serve you and peoples bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed." The blessing had been given. And once spoken, it could not be taken back. "May God give you the dew of heaven and the richness of the earth. May nations serve you and peoples bow down to you." When Esau realized what had happened, Lord over your he cried out with a loud and bitter cry. It could not be taken back. "Bless me too, my father." But Isaac answered, "Your brother came deceitfully and has taken your blessing." Esau said, "Is he not rightly named Jacob? He has cheated me these 2 times. First he took my birthright. Now he has taken my blessing." And Esau's anger burned within him. He began to plan revenge. Your brother came deceitfully and has taken your blessing. Esau said, Is he not rightly named Jacob? He has cheated me these 2 times. First he took my birthright. Now he has taken my blessing. And Esau's anger burned within him. He began to plan revenge. 2 brothers. One traded his birthright for a bowl of stew. The other took the blessing through deception. But the story of Jacob and Esau was far from over. Because God was still working through a broken family, to fulfill a prophecy spoken before they were even born.